For most of the galaxy, the rule was simple. Water killed worlds. Not a little water. Every civilization understood the usefulness of trace moisture. Thin rivers. Isolated seas. Controlled reservoirs locked beneath domes. But oceans. Planet-spanning, crushing, endless oceans? Those were graves. The Trellin Concord, one of the oldest scientific alliances in the Spiral Arm, had classified such planets centuries ago under a single designation. Category abyssal, no sapient life possible. The logic was sound. At least it had been, for them. The Trellins evolved on dry supercontinents under heavy gravity. Their biochemistry rejected prolonged oxygen saturation. Their nervous systems failed under pressure. Their young drowned in less than a minute if submerged. Other species shared similar limits. Some fared worse. So when a planet was discovered with more than 60% surface water, survey drones barely slowed down. A red marker went on the star charts. Dead world. Move on. Professor Vale Torin had built his career on that certainty. He stood inside the grand observation ring of Heliox Station, surrounded by floating hollow models of planetary systems. His 6 eyes tracked data streams while his lower limbs anchored him to the deck. "Run it again," he ordered calmly. The station AI complied. The hologram of K117 Theta rotated slowly, a blue sphere streaked with white storms. Ocean. Endless ocean. Hydrosphere coverage? Vale asked. 72.4%, the AI replied. Average depth exceeds 9 kilometers. Vale flicked his mandibles in satisfaction. And life signs. None detected. No atmospheric anomalies. No artificial emissions. As expected. He turned to the gathered junior researchers. This is why our classification exists. Excessive water destabilizes biochemical development. Pressure crushes complexity. Oxygen saturation disrupts neural pathways. One of the juniors hesitated. "Professor, what about microbial life?" Vale allowed himself a thin smile. "Irrelevant. Microbes are not civilizations." The lesson was about to continue when the alarm sounded. "Unregistered vessel entering system," the station controller shouted. Vale turned sharply. "Origin. Unknown. FTL signature. Unfamiliar." That alone drew attention. FTL drives were as distinctive as fingerprints. Every major power recognized the others. This one didn't match anything. The hologram shifted, projecting a small craft exiting hyperspace near K117 Theta. Vale frowned. Who would jump into an abyssal system? The answer came moments later. The vessel transmitted a greeting. A simple mathematical sequence. Prime numbers. Universal. Vale's spines prickled. "Open channel," he said. It took hours to establish meaningful communication. Translation matrices adjusted. Concepts aligned. Symbolic language gave way to structured speech. When the first clear sentence arrived, the observation ring went silent. "This is the exploration vessel Ardent Horizon," the voice said. "We represent the United Terran Coalition." Vale had never heard of them. "State your origin system," he replied carefully. "Sol," the voice answered. "Third planet." Vale checked the database. "A yellow dwarf. Stable. Unremarkable." "Purpose of your presence?" he asked. "We are surveying potential colony candidates," the human replied easily. Vale's eyes flicked back to the hologram of K117 Theta. "You have entered a classified abyssal system," he said. "There is no habitable landmass." There was a pause. Then the human said something that made several researchers shift uncomfortably. "We're aware." Vale leaned forward. "Then why are you here?" Another pause. Longer this time. "We're following biological indicators," the human answered. "Complex marine ecosystems. Atmospheric oxygen regeneration. Thermal stability." The room erupted. "That's impossible," one scientist barked. "Marine ecosystems?" Another scoffed. "On that world." Vale raised a limb for silence. "Clarify," he said. The human complied. K117 Theta possesses layered ocean biomes. Photosynthetic life near the surface. Predatory megafauna at depth. Complex food chains. Vale felt a cold sensation crawl along his spine. "You are claiming," he said slowly, "that life evolved in open oceans?" "Yes." "That contradicts every known model of sapient development." Another pause. "With respect," the human said, "your models might be incomplete." Vale almost ended the transmission right there. Instead, he forced calm into his voice. What percentage of your origin world surface is covered by water? He asked. The answer came instantly. Approximately 71%. Silence crushed the room. Vale stared at the hologram. Repeat. 71%. The junior researchers exchanged looks of disbelief. That's not a world, someone whispered. That's a liquid death. Vale swallowed. And yet, the human continued, we developed spaceflight, interstellar travel, artificial habitats, and recreational swimming. The last phrase caused visible confusion. Swimming? Vale echoed. Yes. Voluntary immersion. Vale terminated the channel. Not in anger. In shock. Emergency session. The Trellin Concord representatives appeared as towering holograms around the ring. Elders, admirals, biologists. Vale presented the data. Ocean world origin. Sapient life. Technological civilization. Impossible. Deception, one representative hissed. They lie. Or misinterpret, said another. Perhaps their world contains hidden landmasses. Vale shook his head. Their probe data aligns with our own scans. The oceans are real. Then they should not exist, an admiral snapped. Yet exist they did. And worse. Their vessel was descending. Trajectory confirmed, the controller said nervously. They're deploying a secondary craft. Vale's breath hitched. Destination? K117 Theta. Upper ocean layer. Someone laughed in disbelief. They'll be crushed, a scientist said. Pressure alone. The feed came online. The craft pierced the clouds, hit the water, and did not implode. It sank gracefully, stabilizers glowing, hull flexing under pressures that would liquefy Trellin bone. Minutes passed. Then hours. Telemetry streamed back. Temperature stable. Hull integrity nominal. Life signs, calm. Vale watched in stunned silence as the human voice returned. Probe landed successfully, they reported. Crew preparing for external activity. External? Vale croaked. The feed shifted. A human figure emerged into the ocean. No panic. No struggle. They moved. They swam. Vale felt the foundations of his science crack. Behind him, one junior whispered the question no one else could voice. If they come from water, what else have we misunderstood? Vale had no answer. Only the dawning realization that the galaxy had labeled entire worlds dead. Simply because they were afraid to dive in. The Trellin Concord had not panicked in centuries. Their civilizations were built on order, on predictability, on rules that could not fail. Yet now, in the observation ring of Heliox Station, every principle was under siege. Professor Vale Torin paced slowly, each movement deliberate. 6 limbs, 6 eyes, and a mind racing faster than any sublight processor could track. Report, he barked at the station AI. All telemetry stable. Humans are continuing underwater operations. No casualties. Hull stress within tolerances. Life signs nominal. The words were meaningless to the Trellins. Impossible. That word repeated in every mind, echoing like a chime of doom. The Grand Council of Trellin Science, normally an August gathering, erupted in chaos. Hollow projections of K117 Theta filled the chamber. Endless blue oceans, massive aquatic storms, and at intervals, the sleek human craft slicing through waves like a knife through mist. Admiral Kael'thur slammed a claw on the table. This cannot be real. All our models say no sapient life could survive in such an environment. The neural structures, oxygenated water, pressure thresholds, any child drowning in minutes. A biologist's tentacle quivered. They swim, freely, voluntarily. A younger researcher squeaked. They manipulate machines underwater. They have suits, yes, but look, they adapt seamlessly. Vale's mandibles clicked. He tried to calm the room. Our measurements are accurate. Yet they operate as if nothing is amiss. Either we are witnessing a miracle or we are wrong. The word wrong filled the chamber with a low hum of fear. Across the Trellin sectors, labs activated emergency protocols. Every ocean world previously marked dead was reclassified for immediate observation. Drones, satellites, orbital scanners, all were redirected. Scientists argued over methodology. It's an anomaly, said one. Perhaps a localized mutation. Isolated success. Impossible, shouted another. Their entire species evolved this way. Their planet is 71% water. Vale's antenna twitched. He knew they would come for him soon. Not physically, though perhaps, but intellectually. He was the first to admit, the humans challenged centuries of accepted science. Meanwhile, the humans on K-117 Theta continued their operations. The Ardent Horizons submersible crafts descended into ocean trenches. Cameras streamed live images back to orbiting satellites, showing megafauna, coral-like structures, and currents teeming with life. "Data is stable," said Commander Elena Chin, adjusting her visor. "Sensors show oxygen levels within expected tolerance. Pressure compensators functioning nominally." She swam with practiced ease, a sleek suit designed for both submersion and zero-gravity maneuvers. Around her, her team floated, scanning, taking samples, marveling at the alien ecosystem. On the surface, orbital relay communications pinged incessantly. Alerts from Trellin satellites were frequent. "They're watching," Elena noted with a small smile. "And I think they're panicking." Back on Heliox Station, Veiltorin and his team tried every rational explanation. Atmospheric interference. Impossible. Humans survived without issue. Pressure-resistant biology. The Trellins had nothing remotely comparable. Chemical buffers. Speculative at best. Technological deception. They scanned. There was no hidden support. No hidden land. No shallow pools masked as oceans. "Then how?" a researcher asked weakly. Vale closed his eyes. He had no answer. The models, simulations, centuries of observations, all crumbling. "Perhaps," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else, "we've been measuring life through our fear, rather than its potential." A junior researcher gaped. "Are you saying they evolved in water?" "Yes," Vale said flatly. "And they thrived." The chamber went silent. Weeks passed. The humans did not falter. Reports poured in. Submersibles mapped entire trench networks. Life forms were catalogued. Intelligent behavior observed. Humans retrieved samples under extreme pressure conditions, then returned to the surface without issue. Entire ecosystems previously thought sterile thrived under their study. Each success tore through the Trellin Concord like a hammer breaking crystal. Then came the first direct encounter. A Trellin research vessel, Seraphis, approached the human operation, cautiously hovering just above the ocean's surface. Its scanners could detect atmospheric density, thermal flows, even electromagnetic signals from the human suits. A human diver surfaced and waved. Simple gesture. Friendly. Vale observed remotely, jaw-dropping. The vessel attempted communication. Standard mathematical sequences, universal constants. Simple tests for intelligent response. The human waved again. Then spoke clearly and confidently. "We are explorers. We wish to understand your ocean. Will you share?" Vale's spine tingled. The creature, this human, was not afraid. No panic. No trembling, no shock. Calmly inviting a species that had always deemed oceans lethal to join them in their study. The Trellins recoiled. Not out of malice, out of disbelief. "Impossible," someone muttered again. For the first time in recorded Trellin history, an alien species, not only surviving but thriving in a world considered dead, challenged every assumption about life. And Vale understood something vital. It wasn't just water that humans conquered. It was fear itself. The Trellin Concord had never known true uncertainty, until now. Veiltorin's 6 eyes scanned the live feeds from K-117 Theta. Humans maneuvered through crushing depths with the grace of seasoned swimmers, adjusting thrusters, taking readings, and recording alien species previously thought impossible. Admiral Kael'thur's claws slammed the console. "We must intervene. They are destabilizing centuries of scientific doctrine." Vale's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "And yet, every intervention we attempt fails. They anticipate, adapt, improvise." Kael'thur's antennae quivered. "They are inferior in numbers, inferior in technology, and yet they operate with confidence beyond our comprehension. If this continues, Trellin society, our very understanding of life, will collapse." In orbit above K-117 Theta, Trellin probes were deployed, sleek vessels bristling with instruments and scanners designed for deep analysis. They dove into the oceans, sending back data streams of chemical composition, pressure zones, and aquatic life forms. And still, the humans outpaced every measurement. Commander Elena Chen floated beside her team in the trench abyss, examining a towering bioluminescent organism. Record everything. Thermal, chemical, motion patterns. "This ecosystem is phenomenal." A submersible word passed, carrying Dr. Luis Herrera, a xenobiologist. "Elena, the probes are coming. Do we engage?" She shook her head. "No. Let them watch. Let them see the truth. Our work is proof enough." On Heliox Station, Trellin scientists argued fiercely. "Deploy armed vessels. one cried. If humans can survive these depths, perhaps their technology hides dangerous weapons. Absurd, said Vale. All evidence shows they are focused on exploration, not conquest. But what if we are wrong? Another researcher countered. What if they are manipulating the environment to deceive us? Vale's antenna twitched. Even if deception were possible, their physiology alone defies every principle we know. Water itself is no longer a barrier. Fear is their only limitation, and they do not have it. The Trellans escalated. A fleet of 4 research frigates approached the ocean surface, designed to deploy deep-sea drones. The vessels were armed with sonic disruptors and hydrochemical probes, intended to manipulate ocean currents, test the limits of the humans' suits, and provoke a response. The humans observed the arrivals calmly. Elena tapped her wrist comms. They're sending drones. Don't interfere unless necessary. Let them see that their assumptions are wrong. The first Trellan probe descended. Its instruments analyzed oxygen content, water pressure, and microbial life. And the humans? They swam alongside it, observing, recording, and gently correcting minor miscalculations in the probe's approach patterns. When the probe attempted to measure stress limits by creating turbulence, the human submersibles maneuvered effortlessly around it, stabilizing currents, and continuing their work as if nothing had occurred. Back on Heliox Station, Vale's 6 eyes widened in disbelief. They're teaching the probe to operate correctly. A junior researcher paled. They are mentoring our machines? Yes, Vale said slowly. They do not fear the ocean. They do not fear us. And they adapt faster than we can simulate. Admiral Kael'thur leaned forward, antennae flicking nervously. Then we escalate. Full intervention. Send the fleet to extract them. Ensure no further anomalies occur. Vale's mandibles clicked with hesitation. And risk open conflict, with creatures that can survive what we cannot? They've proven themselves, beyond comprehension. Do you truly wish to test your fleet? The Admiral's claws trembled. I must protect Trellan knowledge. Vale shook his head. Knowledge cannot be protected from truth. Only preserved alongside understanding. You will not stop them. And you know it. On K-117 Theta, the humans noticed the approaching Trellan vessels but did not panic. Commander Chin activated communications. We come in peace. Observe, learn, adapt. There is no threat. The Trellans paused. Their ships had never received a transmission like this, direct, calm, and unyielding. Every vessel's sensors registered a simple truth. Humans are fearless, confident, and impossibly capable. Vale watched as his species' pride shattered slowly but irrevocably. Humans did not fight, they inspired. They challenged assumptions not with weapons but with action, observation, and intellect. For the first time, the Trellan Concord faced a reality it could not control. The oceans of K-117 Theta stretched endlessly, a liquid world that had once been deemed inhospitable and lethal by the galaxy's greatest minds. Now it was the proving ground for humanity. Commander Elena Chen led her team through the abyss, observing enormous bioluminescent predators that dwarfed the largest Trellan submarines. Each encounter was meticulously recorded, each calculation noted. Humans moved with precision and confidence, as if the crushing pressure, freezing temperatures, and alien wildlife were trivial matters. Above, the Trellan Concord was in turmoil. Admiral Kael'thur's antennae twitched anxiously at the reports flooding in. They swim, unassisted through lethal currents. They survive pressures that would crush our ships, one officer reported. Their suits adapt automatically. They anticipate the environment before our calculations even predict it. Vale Torin, sitting quietly on the observation deck, muttered, They are not merely surviving. They are mastering it. And each success challenges every assumption we hold about life, biology, and physics. Kael'thur's claws slammed the console. We must stop them. Our knowledge, our pride, it cannot be undone. Vale's 6 eyes fixed on him. Do you wish to wage war against a species that thrives in conditions we cannot even simulate? The Admiral faltered. We cannot let them proceed unchecked. We have obligations. They are obligations to truth, not fear, Vale interrupted. Every probe you send, every ship you deploy, only proves their mastery further. Resistance is futile. Adapt or be left behind. Deep in the trench, Dr. Luis Herrera observed a massive, tentacled organism pulsating with energy. Elena, this is unlike anything we've ever seen. Its neural network, it's interacting with us. Commander Chin smiled faintly. It's curious, not hostile. Respect its space, record it, learn from it. That's how humans survive in the unknown. A human submersible hovered beside the creature, projecting a holographic interface that mapped its neural activity in real time. The tentacles shifted rhythmically, responding to the projections. "It's cooperating," Luis breathed. "It's adapting to our signals." Chen's eyes gleamed. "Exactly. Observation, understanding, communication. That is humanity's weapon. Not destruction." Back on Heliox Station, Trellin scientists scrambled. Reports indicated that the humans were not only surviving but enhancing the ecosystem. Small bioluminescent colonies followed their submersibles, chemical balances stabilized, and even previously dormant species began reacting positively to their presence. Vale whispered to himself, "They are rewriting biology itself, not by force but by harmony. And we have declared war on fear, not on them." Kael'thur's antennae twitched in anger. "They defy every law we have written. If they succeed, everything we know, every principle we've built, will be obsolete." A junior officer interjected nervously. "Sir, they're signaling. A transmission to the fleet." Kael'thur's claws froze mid-motion. What are they sending?" Vale's mandibles clicked. "An invitation to observe. Not to fight. Not to conquer. Only to learn." In orbit, the Trellin fleet hovered tensely. A massive holographic projection of the humans' activities played across every deck. Humans diving into the abyss, surveying life forms. Submersibles mapping the terrain in real time. Holographic data projections stabilizing alien species, revealing previously unknown behaviors. A low hum filled the fleet's command hall. Vale's voice echoed, soft but commanding, "Look at them. Do you see weapons? Do you see fear? Do you see hesitation? They are explorers, not invaders. And they will succeed where we cannot." Kael'thur's claws shook. We must intervene." Vale's antennae flicked sharply. "No. Intervention would be folly. Humanity does not fight the ocean. They embrace it. And in doing so, they have already won." Back in the deep trenches, Commander Chen released a small submersible carrying a Trellin observation drone. It hovered, scanning, recording. The humans interacted with it, mapping currents, adjusting its sensors, even guiding it safely through hazards. The drone transmitted back. "Observation, humans survive. Humans adapt. Humans lead." Vale Torren's 6 eyes widened in silent awe. The galaxy has underestimated them. Every world that once seemed impossible, now belongs to them in principle. Kael'thur's voice dropped to a whisper. Are they gods?" Vale shook his head. "No. They are human. And that is more terrifying than divinity. They prove that limits are only what we believe them to be." The abyssal heart of K117 Theta pulsed with unknown energy, a labyrinth of pressures and currents that had claimed every probe the Trellins had sent before. Yet here were humans, descending without hesitation. Commander Elena Chen led her team in adaptive exosuits that adjusted automatically to pressure, temperature, and chemical composition. Every sensor reading, every anomaly, was instantly shared with the surface fleet and orbital stations. A massive trench monster, previously thought invincible, approached. It glowed in response to the human's presence, curious but not hostile. "Observe," Chen said calmly. "Respect, don't provoke. Let it teach you." Her team carefully projected a holographic interface, mapping the creature's neural patterns. Slowly, the alien being altered its path, guiding the humans through a safe corridor in the trench. "Cooperation, not combat," Luis whispered, awestruck. Above, in orbit, the Trellin fleet watched, stunned. Every human maneuver defied their expectations. Currents that should have crushed them were mastered. Predators that should have devoured them were studied and avoided. Unknown terrains that should have been impassable were charted in real time. Admiral Kael'thur's antennae twitched violently. "Impossible. They are in conditions that would annihilate our ships." Vale Torren's 6 eyes shone with reluctant admiration. "They do not merely survive. They dominate the environment by understanding it. Every assumption we held has been proven false." The Trellin scientists recorded data, recalculating biology, physics, and ecology as humans redefined every principle of life on a water world. Deep in the trench, humans discovered the abyssal heart, a colossal cavern where geothermal vents and alien life formed a self-sustaining ecosystem. The crew deployed submersibles and drones, mapping the entire network. "This is life thriving where none should exist," Chen said, her voice calm but triumphant. "And this is just one world. There are millions more." The humans' efficiency and respect for life astounded the Trellins. Every probe, every drone, every holographic simulation extended the bounds of possibility. Back on the Trellin Concord, the leaders convened. Admiral Kael'thar could no longer deny the truth. They are not invaders. They are not merely explorers. They are a species that reshapes reality itself. Vale Torin addressed the fleet, his voice resolute. The humans have proven that fear of the unknown is a limitation of the mind, not the universe. They embrace what we reject. They adapt, innovate, and survive where we fail. Our pride must yield to knowledge. The Concord issued a historic declaration. The human species shall be acknowledged as a pioneering civilization. Their methods, discoveries, and philosophy of exploration shall guide interstellar policy. On the surface of K117 Theta, humans emerged from the trench victorious. The crew had recorded data that would revolutionize science for millennia. Life can exist where none was thought possible. Oceans are not barriers, they are laboratories. Intelligence, ingenuity, and adaptability are the true measures of survival. Chin addressed her team. We came here to explore, to learn, and to show that humanity thrives where others fear to tread. Remember this moment. The galaxy has underestimated us. Never again. The Trellins, once confident in their scientific supremacy, stood humbled. They realized humanity's power was not in weapons or numbers, but in curiosity, courage, and mastery of the impossible. In orbit, Vale whispered to Kael'thar, the galaxy has changed. Oceans that were feared are now playgrounds. Worlds once abandoned are now open to life. And humanity has rewritten the rules. Kael'thar's antennae drooped in reluctant acknowledgement. They are not just explorers. They are architects of the future. Epilogue: Humanity's legacy. Over decades, humans colonized the ocean worlds, each mission building on the lessons of K117 Theta. Alien species flourished alongside them. Trellin scientists collaborated, humbled and inspired. The galaxy learned that limits exist only to be challenged. In every corner of the cosmos, a new truth became clear. Where humans go, impossibility becomes opportunity. Where others see death, humanity sees life. And where fear reigns, humans dive without hesitation. The galaxy that once feared water worlds now admired the courage of a species that laughed in the face of the impossible. Humanity had not just survived, they had transformed the universe. The end.